What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from SRL. That is the Sandro Racing League, and while there are many SRL leagues, there's only one Sandro Racing League. This is F1 2020 on the PS4 platform. Season 6, Round 11 here at Silverstone, and we are running a few minutes behind. I apologize. I woke up this morning with a case of the corona, and I'm not talking about the virus. I'm talking about one too many beers last night, so my apologies for running behind. And now my cat is sitting on my notes. Robbie, get off. Get off. Damn it. So, round 11 here at Silverstone as we wait for a few extra drivers to get in. We're coming off of round 10 at Monaco, which was an unbelievable race. I want to thank Nick Van Gelder for filling in for me. I know it was not what he wanted to do. Unfortunately, there was a mix-up with my work schedule, and I could not be here for the Monaco race. I want to thank Nick for filling in for me. He really wanted to race in that race, but after much discussion and with the season that he has had and the luck that he has had this year, he did graciously take over for me last week, so I really appreciate that from Nick. But let's recap round 10. Jenson Randall with his 5th pole position of the season. An unbelievable run for him that he has been on. Let's see, Liam Hill finally picks up his first win of the season. Now, he did cross the line first back at France, but because of timing penalties, he had dropped back from 1st to 4th. So this time he actually comes across the line first and gets to keep it. It was his first win of the season and actually bumped him up into 6th on the championship point standings. Second was Jenson Randall with another podium finish. That was his 9th podium of the year. Meanwhile, Andrea Latrella tries to keep his championship hopes alive. He finished 3rd last week. And apparently I didn't have all my notes up to date because I've been slacking, and I do apologize about that. I swear I'll get better as this goes on. Andrea Latrella with his 5th podium position of the season as he came home 3rd. Sandro with a great run to 4th. Rennie van der Staap finished 5th. Luke Smith almost finished on the podium, had a flat on the very last lap of the race, limped home to a 6th place finish. Reese March was 7th, Dion Stahl 8th, Max Mulder was 9th, Dennis Carenci's 10th, Esteban Hermanos was 11th, and then 12th through 16th was all DNFs. That was Cameron Weston Edwards, Robin Herderstegen, Jurma Rusic, Funes Van Houten, and Louis Quinlan. And that was Cameron's 3rd DNF of the season. Robin Herderstegen, it was the 2nd DNF of the season, but he has gotten a 2-race ban for ignoring blue flags and blocking traffic, not just at Monaco, but this has actually been an ongoing issue apparently with some of the drivers in Robin Herderstegen. And we had a similar issue a few years ago, actually at Silverstone with Sam Van Elven ignoring blue flags, and he got a race ban then. Robin Herderstegen with a 2-race ban this year. But that was his 2nd DNF. Jurma Rusic with his 1st DNF, along with Funes Van Houten, his 1st DNF of the season, and Louis Quinlan, his 3rd DNF of the season. And props to Louis. If you check out the SRL YouTube page, you'll see the annual, or 2nd annual, Snowball Derby. Props to Louis for commentating on that. I participated in the race. Don't know why. It wasn't worth it. I did horrible, as I usually do. But thanks to Louis for doing the commentating for that, so check that out. And Louis Quinlan back at round 9, just to recap of that real quick, picked up his 1st podium position of the season and his 1st podium in a long time. So Louis making it work this year. Point standings as it stands, Jenson Randall still your championship points leader with 193 points, followed by Andrea Latrella with 158. Luke Smith, the part-time driver, looks like he's not going to be racing today, but the reserve driver, Luke Smith, 98 points. He is 3rd on the point standings. Cameron Weston Edwards is in 4th with he's in 4th with 84 points. Sandro Dulius is 5th with 71 points. Liam Hill, like I said, he bumped himself up to 6th in the midst of that win last week. He's got 66 points to his credit. Rennie van der Staap, who's had he's had a very off-season, and even in the off-season that he's been having, he's managed to work his way into the top 10 in points. He's got 54 points to his credit. Last season's champion, Tim Bentic, only has 47 points to his credit. He hasn't participated in a lot of races this year. Dennis Carenci's, who's shown flashes of speed, but he's had some bad luck this year, 41 points. Reese March with 38 points. And now the fun part, 11th through 15th. That is Nick Van Gelder, Max Mulder, Louis Quinlan, Dion Stahl, and Foons Van Houten. Nick and Max have 29 points. Louis is 28 points. Dion 27, and Foons 25. They are all cramming to try and get into that top 10 in points for bragging rights. So let's get to the 18-minute short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race here at Silverstone, the home of F1. And looks like we've got some clouds in the sky. And rain is expected at the end of the race, according to our forecaster in the booth. And we've got 15 drivers here for today's Grand Prix. Right now we're looking at Dennis Carenchis. Reese March is currently in the pits. Jensen Randall is on an out lap. Dion Stahl in the pits. Got Colin Higgins out on track. Jure Marusic is in the Red Bull. He's still in the pits. Louis Quinlan, as we talked, picked up his first podium finish in a long time. Round 9 a couple weeks ago. Rennie Vanderstapp is in the McLaren. Liam Hill still in the pits. Cameron Weston-Edwards in the other McLaren. They had a tangle at Paul Ricard a couple of rounds ago. We got Max Mulder, Sandro Dulius, Andrea Latrella, Esteban Hermanos, and Nick Van Gelder. And Nick Van Gelder's bad luck continues. He is starting the race today. He is not starting with his normal wheel. Practicing for the Grand Prix this week, he found a broken pin on the backside of his wheel that was not giving him the ability to use some of the actual control buttons on the steering wheel. So he's had to, I believe, swap out to his other wheel, his older style. So Silverstone, you know, Sandro brought it up earlier in the week, a mechanical failure for Sandro last year here at Silverstone, where Sandro lost his throttle. His car would only give 70% throttle. And now this year, a broken pin on Nick Van Gelder's steering wheel. So mechanical failures here at Silverstone the last couple seasons. As we watch, I'm going to pick up Dennis Carenchis. Should be the first driver on an out lap. I mean, first driver on a hot lap. We'll pick him up. He's out on the soft tires. And once again, this is another track that SRL has never had a repeat winner in. Dion Stahl, who's with us still, won the inaugural Silverstone Grand Prix back in Season 1. And Nick Van Gelder has won in Season 2. And, well, actually, he's a repeat winner. He won Season 2 and Season 4. So Nick Van Gelder, repeat winner, is the only one here. Killian Brady won it back in Season 3, and Vasilis Deliciotis won it last season. So Nick and Dion on track today. Maybe they can make a repeat once again. And Louis Quinlan informing me that he has a qualifying ban, and I'm sure I was notified of that, but to be honest, guys, I woke up like 30 minutes ago, so not really up to snuff just yet. But Louis Quinlan going to be sitting this one out as far as the qualifying goes. He will be starting in the back of the field as we watch Dennis Carenchis come around. And Dennis Carenchis sets a time of a 1:25.502. Jensen Randall has gone to the top of the charts with a 1:24.486, followed by Esteban Hermanos in the Haas. That's a good time for Esteban. I see Rennie Vanderstapp with a 1:25.815. Colin Higgins 1:26.194. Pick up Reese March as he's coming down the back straightaway. Gets a little bit of a draft there. He's going purple in Sector 2. Woo. And Reese has been doing really, really well this year. He's, me and Sam have talked about it in the past. A couple weeks ago, he's had a slew of teammates since Sam has essentially retired this year. And you see Reese goes 1:25.444. He's been the Lone Ranger at the Haas stable for a long time. Yannick Verpayten, a slew of reserve drivers, Esteban Hermanos, Luke Smith, Yannick Verpayten, Ivan Brito last week. Ivan's not with us this week, unfortunately, but you know, he's carrying that lone Haas car to the top 10 in points quietly, and good for him this year. He had a win at IRL F3 tier at Monaco this year, so that was good to see as well. So Reese trying to keep things alive. Pick up Max Mulder. Max Mulder won the second annual Snowball Derby, as we call it, on Project Cars 2 last week in the rally cars. He stormed his way to a massive win. It was really good to see. Max is a really nice guy. He has struggled a little bit in F1, and he has struggled a little bit in the sports cars, but he put on a show last week and stomped the field in the final round. So he's coming off of a little bit of a high. He's got some momentum carrying himself into this race. We'll see what kind of time he can put up. That's this very high speed section. I don't remember Maggots and Beckett, I think. Down the Hanger Straight, I don't remember. And I have a question, is Liam Hill family of Damon Hill? I do not believe Liam Hill is family of former F1 champion Damon Hill. Would be kind of cool though. And Max Mulder has set a time of a 1:25.916. And we'll see if we can pick up Cameron Weston Edwards. And Cam's got an opportunity today to get back to that third spot in the championship point standings with Luke being out. Cam has kind of prided himself on being the best of the rest, as we have said most of the season. Really, the two championship contenders has been Jensen Randall and Andrea Latrella, who really battled it back and forth for quite some time. A couple rounds ago, Andrea had a string of bad luck he's trying to make up for. So there's a 40-point gap there between Jensen and Liam, but Cam has really prided himself on trying to be the best of the rest and tried solidifying that third spot in the championship point standings, but he had a crash back at Paul Ricard with his teammate. That let Luke Smith take the points position from him from third. But now with Luke out today, Cam's got an opportunity to put some points on the board, maybe get that spot back. She ride along with Cam down the straightaway. Going to pick up a little bit of a slipstream off of Max Mulder's car. Oh, and he blows that corner, and that is going to invalidate his time. That is too bad for him. So he'll have to come back around and try it again. And we are getting confirmation qualifying ban for Liam Hill, Yerma Rusic, and Louis Quinlan, all from the last round. No, this is not a dirty league, but Monaco can create some havoc. So this is very far from a dirty league. So those three, that's three quick drivers. Yerma Rusic, Louis Quinlan, and Liam Hill, all going to be starting on the backside of this track. See, Liam Hill is out on track. He is allowed to make a setup. He is allowed to do an out lap. He is not allowed to set a timed lap. So he can go out of the pits, run it around the track, and head back into the pits. Make sure that his setup is exactly the way that he wants it. And we see Andrea Latrella has gone 1:24.613, 2/10 off of Jensen Randall. And Jensen is running his way through some traffic here on an invalidated lap. So Cam, we'll see Cam. Cam did set a time, 1:37.45. We know that was off the pace. We saw him blow that one corner. Looks like he's off the pace again. He's going to dive into the pits. Just under 8 minutes left to play in this session. We'll pick up Rennie Vanderstappen. Rennie's going to come across the line, 1:25.422. That's almost 4/10 quicker than his previous time. Moves him into 6th place. So good on Rennie. We'll pick up Esteban Hermanos, who's put up a surprisingly good time, a 124.839. He's one of only 3 drivers to crack into the 124s. He runs a little wide there, but sounds like he's a little bit off the pace here, so it looks like he's going to abort that lap. We're going to pick up Sandro Dulius. Looks like Sandro's just gone fast. This is in Sector 1. Sandro has struggled a little bit this year, coming off of a great 4th place finish last time out at Monaco. See if Sandro's got anything in the tank for these top 3 runners. Top 4, really. Dennis Terenti's is now up into 125.202s, 4th quickest. Looks like he's 0.3 up on his previous time. That would crack him into just shy of the 124s. Last couple of corners for Sandro. Can he move himself up into the 4th spot? That would put him just ahead if he maintains this pace. Here he comes. 124.952. Good for Sandro. Cracks into that 124 range. Moves himself up to 4th in front of Dennis Terenti's. Good effort by Sandro Dulius. We'll pick up his teammate Dion Stahl. Looks like he's on a invalidated lap time, unfortunately. So a couple interesting things here. Nick Van Gelder coming out of the pits, 125.575. He's a 2-time winner here, Season 2 and Season 4. Realistically, if he wins every other year, he should win today, Season 6, 2, 4, 6. So pressure's on Nick, and Nick been having a really tough year. Very uncharacteristic. He's had a string of bad luck. We talked about it a little bit in the pre-race. So Nick going to be looking to try and put in a good effort today. Like I said, he's had a broken wheel earlier this week. He's had to revert back to an older model. He's had a race ban this year from some poor decision making on track that caused a wreck, unfortunately, and got called out at Australia a couple times. He was involved in some bad wrecks that weren't necessarily his fault, just wasn't meant to be. So Nick Van Gelder looking to try and make up for some of that, and currently on an out lap. We'll go on board with him when he comes across the line. Just over 4 minutes left to play in this session. Right along with Nick. Big lockup on the right front. And a big lockup on the left front. Nick is known for his very aggressive driving. Hard on the throttle, hard on the brakes. It has paid off for him. He's a Season 4 champion. Whoa, and another big lockup there. And you can see he's fighting with the wheel a little bit. He does like a very loose setup on his car. He's our resident Ken Block, if you will. And I think Nick might need to tighten this up just a little bit. Down in 11th. See what kind of time he can post through Sector 2, if he's ahead of his time or not. He's almost 0.2 up on his previous time. I mean, that would put him into the top 10, but that's not much of an improvement. He's going to need at least a half a second to try and get competitive. Andrea Latrella just went to the top of the charts with a 124.299. Good for Andrea. That's provisional pole with 3 minutes left to go. Here comes Nick, 125.065. He does pick up a half second. He moves into 7th place. Good qualifying effort there for Nick Van Gelder. And Cameron Weston Edwards finally sets a proper time with a 124.982, just shy off of his on-track rival, Sandro Dulius. Meanwhile, Andrea Latrella had to do 2 laps on his softs, goes 124.299. That's 0.2 quicker than Jensen Randall. Dennis Karenchis is going third quickest with a 1:24.525. Looks like he's a little bit off the pace as well. We'll pick up Esteban Hermanos. He's on an invalidated lap time. And look at Reese March. Reese March just came across the line. 1:24.931. He's gone a half-second quicker than his previous time. He moves himself into fifth. So that drops Sandro, Cameron, and Nick. Great job by Reese March. We'll pick up Rennie Vanderstapp, who's diving into the pits. So that's all for naught. And we'll pick up Max Mulder now. Max has gone 1:25.916. It's his best time. Currently 12th. And that is essentially last of the timed laps. Yerma Rusic, Louis Quinlan, Liam Hill all sitting out of this qualifying session for qualifying bans. And Dennis Karenchis has retired from the session. I imagine Dennis feels he's not going to be able to get any more out of the car. So his time's going to be locked in at a 1:24.525. Good enough for third so far. We'll see if he drops through the field. Currently watching Max Mulder. Your 2020 Snowball Derby champion. And Cameron Weston Edwards is retired from the session. Andrea Latrella has retired from the session. So Andrea is the provisional pole sitter. 1:24.299 is the time to beat. Dennis is bowed out. Reese is bowed out. Cameron Weston Edwards is bowed out. So Jensen Randall's on an out lap. We're watching Max Mulder. We'll pick up Jensen as soon as we see what kind of time Max can set. Can he crack himself into the top 10? And a 1:25.414, that's good enough for ninth. And we're going to pick up Jensen Randall. Rennie Vanderstapp is retired from the session as well, so his time will be locked in at 1:25.421. We're watching Jensen Randall. Does he have anything in the tank to snatch another pole position? He's got 5 pole positions so far this year in 10 rounds. Andrea Latrella, 0.2 quicker. And time is officially up. Flying laps will count. Jensen cutting it close on some of these corners. Almost dived that into the grass. He's gone purple in sector 2. Down to this hard left-hander. Coming out of the last corner. It's going to be close. At a 1:24.342, a tenth of a second off. Andrea Latrella still sitting on provisional pole. We'll pick up Sandro Dulius as he comes out of the last corner. 1:24.878, good enough for fifth. Pick up Dion Stahl. Dion Stahl all the way down in 12th. Looks like he's 0.2 of a second off of his time. And that's probably going to wrap it up. It doesn't look like Dion's going to dive into the pits. Max is out on track on an invalidated lap time. So congratulations to Andrea Latrella, the Italian, picking up another pole position. That is his 4th pole position of the season. In fact, the only other driver to get a pole position this year besides Andrea Latrella and Jensen Randall was Liam Hill back in France. And Max will limp across the line. Good enough for 10th. Good qualifying effort for Max Mulder. So there is your starting order. Andrea Latrella, Jensen Randall, Dennis Karenchis, Esteban Hermanos, Sandro Dulius, Reese March, Cameron Weston Edwards, Nick Van Gelder, Colin Higgins, Max Mulder, Rennie Vanderstapp, Dion Stahl, Jorma Rusic, Louis Quinlan, and Liam Hill were not able to set times due to qualifying bans. You see, everybody's tires were on the, or everybody's times were set on the softs. And as the league said earlier on in the live stream, there is rain expected towards the end of this race. So the great equalizer could show its ugly face towards the end here. Just how close to the end of the race is that going to be? We'll have to wait and see if there's a changeover to intermediates or possibly full wets, depending on how hard it rains. Silverstone, obviously, it rains there a lot, so Have to wait and see. You do see there's a little overcast already here at the beginning of this race. There's a little peak of blue back there in between some of those clouds, but it's not too terribly dark just yet. We'll wait for the game to set. Of course, the game is taking its good old time, with news of Electronic Arts taking over for the F1 series here on the video game world. We'll see if Electronic Arts can fix some of the bugs that have plagued the Codemasters games the last few years when they come out with their F1 2021. So running down the running order one more time, Andrea Latrella starting on pole position for the 4th time this year. He needs to finish in front of Jensen Randall if he wants to try and close that championship points gap. He's got 158 points versus Jensen Randall's 193. Those two have been the front runners all season. And once again, they are starting out in front. Dennis Carenci starting in the 3rd spot, trying to make up for a string of bad luck. He's currently sitting down in 9th in points. Does have a podium this year. And Esteban Hermanos with a great qualifying effort in the Haas, coming in 4th. He's looking to put some points on the board today. He's coming off an 11th place finish at Monaco, just shy of putting a point on the board. Sandro Julius finished 4th last week at Monaco. See if he can work his way through the field, maybe snatch a podium here today, make up for last year's mechanical failure on his rig where he lost partial throttle. He only had 70% full throttle last year. So Reese March starting in 6th. See if he can work his way up the field, maybe snatch a surprise podium. And Cameron Weston Edwards starting in 7th. Cameron Weston Edwards holds the record right now for the most cars passed on an opening lap. Not single-handedly, but collectively throughout the season, he has passed more cars on the opening lap than any other driver in the field. Nick Van Gelder starting in 8th, looking to make up for what has been an abysmal year for him. Try and put some points on the board. Colin Higgins is starting in 9th. Good qualifying effort for him. See if he can work his way through the field and put some points on the board as well. Max Mulder coming off of his win at the Snowball Derby, starting in 10th. See if he can carry that momentum through and put some points on the board for the Racing Point team. And Rennie Vanderstapp has had a very uncharacteristic year. Crashed big time at Paul Ricard. Let's see if he can put some points on the board for Team McLaren and work his way back to his old form, his podium finishing form. Dion Stahl starting in the 12th spot. See if he can work his way through the field and help out his teammate Sandro Julius. And Jor Marusic, Louis Quinlan, and Liam Hill all starting in the back because of qualifying ban Liam Hill. 66 points coming off of that win a couple weeks ago at Paul Ricard. Going to have his work cut out for him starting all the way in the back. Waiting on the 5 red lights. Lights out, time to run what you brung. They're away in a puff of smoke, and it looks like Cameron Weston Edwards has already jumped out, trying to make up some ground starting in 7th. Jensen Randall to the inside of Andrea Latrella. Andrea's going to cut across the nose and get in front of him, and here comes Dennis Carenci, but Jensen's going to dive to the inside of Latrella. Latrella hangs tough, and now Carenci's trying to get to the inside of Randall, try and get that power down. Esteban Hermanos is all over the back of Carenci's. You see Nick Van Gelder's made a pass over Max Mulder, and they're coming down the straightaway. No DRS just yet here in the opening lap, but Jensen Randall to the inside, using some of that slipstream off of Latrella's car. And he's all over the back of him. We look out the back of there is Dennis Carenci's. And Louis Quinlan has worked his way up into 10th already. He's brought Liam Hill with him in 11th. Joma Rusic has dropped back to 15th. And now they're starting to separate themselves a little bit. Andrea Latrella and Jensen Randall starting to pull away from the field. Esteban Hermanos is all over the backside of Dennis Carenci's for that 3rd spot. And here comes Esteban. He's got the slipstream. And Cameron Weston Edwards has moved his way into the 5th spot. And Louis Quinlan's already picked up a 3-second time penalty. So is Yerma Rusic. Liam Hill making a move on Max Mulder for the 9th spot. That is a tight battle. Cameron Weston Edwards is now up into 4th position. That doesn't seem right. What happened to Dennis? Is this another quality timing and scoring glitch? Yes, it is. Dennis is still running in the 3rd spot. As you see, the timing and scoring is going haywire on the left-hand side of the screen. So Yerma Rusic is apparently pitting. Codemasters. I swear. So Andrea Latrella is your leader. He's out in front of Jensen Randall. Dennis Carenchis is 3rd, but Esteban Hermanos is all over the back of him for that position. And look at Esteban. He's putting a hard charge on him as they head through the S's here. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall is somehow classified 1st, but behind Andrea Latrella. No, Jensen Randall's gotten in front. Oh my God, there we go. Jensen Randall out in front. He made the pass on Andrea Latrella. Sorry we missed that. The timing and scoring got this thing all screwed up for me. Andrea lost to the top spot. Now can Andrea hang tough and keep up with Jensen Randall? Meanwhile, Esteban Hermanos and Dennis Carenchis, looks like they made a little bit of contact there. Esteban gives the spot back. And we're starting to get a couple of little battles here and there. So we've got the battle for the lead. That's 1st and 2nd between Jensen Randall and Andrea Latrella. DRS should be enabled this time around. Dennis Carenchis is holding off Esteban Hermanos, and then Cameron Weston Edwards is trying to hold off Reese March. Here comes Nick Van Gelder. Van Gelder just got around Sandro Dulius for the 8th spot. Sandro is all over the back of Nick's car. Sandro's going to have to fight that arrow wash. He runs wide through the grass. Oh, that was close. Got the DRS slot open coming down this back straightaway. Tries to get to the inside. He can't quite make it work. Gets a good run coming out of there. Colin Higgins picks up a 3-second time penalty. And it looks like we've got Liam Hills making a move on Reese. He gets around him for the 6th spot. So Liam Hill, who started last in this field, is now up into 6th. He's got Cameron Weston Edwards in front of him. And Cameron Weston Edwards is actually catching Esteban Hermanos and Dennis Carenchis that battle for 3rd. Meanwhile, Andrea Latrella is starting to lose touch with Jensen Randall just a little bit. The battle there is about almost a 2nd gap in between them. Andrea trying to hang tough and stay within that DRS range. And Liam Hill now, he is all over the gearbox of Cameron Weston Edwards, and I think Liam is about to get a hard lesson in what it's like to try and get around Cameron Weston Edwards. Edwards is a very aggressive defender. Liam Hill to the inside. Not going to be able to make it work there. Liam to the inside. Cam's going to try and cross over. He's not going to be able to make it stick. And good on Liam. And now Cam is going to hold off Reese March. Meanwhile, Esteban Hermanos has picked up a 3-second time penalty, still trying to find his way around Dennis Carenchis for that 3rd spot. Dennis has done well to hold Esteban off. And Esteban's done well to keep pace with him as he tries to dive to the inside. And as these two are battling it out, Liam Hill is starting to close in on this gap. See, Liam is on those medium tires along with Louis Quinlan. Those are the only two drivers that started on the mediums. And Esteban picks up a 3-second time penalty trying to get around Dennis Carenchis. And now we've got ourselves a 3-car battle for the 3rd spot. And Dennis is not making life very easy for Esteban. Esteban's really having to work to try and find his way around. Swings to the outside. Dennis trying to take a different line. And you're not going to be able to pass him through here. Ooh, Esteban runs into the grass just a little bit. Here comes Liam Hill behind him. And now Liam's going to have a double slipstream coming down this straightaway. Liam swings around the outside of Esteban Hermanos, takes that 4th spot away from Esteban. Esteban was fighting so hard, but now Liam Hill runs wide. Here comes Esteban back in under braking, and he almost made contact with Liam Hill. Oh no, it looks like Dennis had a big off there for a second. Dennis back on. So Dennis just lost 2 spots in 1 corner. Liam Hill up in the 3rd. Liam Hill got the 2-for-1 deal on that lap. And now Liam Hill finds himself in a podium position. Dennis Carenchis trying to get back in front of Esteban Hermanos. Meanwhile, Reese March is stuck back here. Look at this gaggle of cars. This mid-pack battle. Esteban Hermanos, Dennis Carenchis, Cameron Weston Edwards, Reese March, Nick Van Gelder, Sandro Julius, Louis Quinlan, Max Mulder, all within striking distance of each other. Reese March is stuck in between 2 very good drivers. Cameron Weston Edwards in front, Nick Van Gelder in back. And Sandro's back there as well. So Reese doing a great job to hold his own. Looks like Cam has got his composure back. Sandro just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And Sandro trying to hold off Louis Quinlan. Uh-oh, and what is going here? Looks like Sandro is off into the grass. That was a big off through there. I don't know if that was a glitch or did I miss something. Louis Quinlan, here he comes. Here comes Louis now. To the inside. Oh my goodness, Louis trying to get a 2-for-1 deal. Sandro gets the short end of the stick on that. And now Louis trying to get in front of Nick Van Gelder. They make contact. That was a close one. Louis going to come out on top on that one. Moves himself into the 8th position. Meanwhile, Max Mulder finds himself the meat in the middle of a Ferrari sandwich here. We've got Sandro Julius in front of him in the 10th spot. Dion Stahl behind him in 12th. And here comes Dion to the inside. Oh, and that was very close. They almost made contact there as well. They're side by side through here. Mulder's got the more preferred line. And now here comes Rennie Vanderstappen to try and get to the inside of Dion's car. He runs a little wide coming out of that corner. Dion gets back to the inside of Max. Looks like Dion's finally going to be able to make that one stick. They gave each other enough room. Max swings back to the inside. No, that's not what I wanted. Get back to Dion. Oh, Dion now is, and Rennie Vanderstappen is making the move on Max Mulder. So Rennie gets around Max as well. Meanwhile, Nick and Louis are still battling it out. Louis able to get a good run out of that corner, separate himself a little bit. Working lap 8 of 26 now. Andrea Latrella still trying to keep pace with Jensen Randall. They're half-second separates these two, but these guys are almost 5 seconds out in front of Liam Hill. Liam Hill running all by his lonesome now. He's 2 seconds ahead of Esteban Hermanos. Meanwhile, Esteban has still got Dennis Carenchis creeping in the background, half-second back from him. Cameron Weston-Edwards is trying to hold off Reese March. And then Louis Quinlan's back here trying to hold off a hard-charging Nick Van Gelder. And Andrea looks like he's trying to make a charge up here at the front. This is going to be a game of cat and mouse, and really this is going to come down to, I think, whoever's going to try and pick first and get the undercut over the other. Say these camera angles leave a little to be desired as far as what we can pick up as far as the action on track. Not sure how much ERS he's got. We'll put on the telemetry. He's on the overtake, it looks like, and he doesn't have a whole lot at all. He is going to have the DRS. He's not going to have a whole lot of ERS to use along with it. He's back on the overtake. If he can keep pace with them, he can save some of that ERS for a lap or two. Then he can make a real hard charge at him. These two are still battling it out. Liam Hill's actually starting to creep in a little bit. He's got that lead down from 4.7 to 3.7. So Liam Hill has picked up a second in the last couple of laps. He is on the alternate strategy because he's on the medium tires. So he's right now, Liam Hill sitting in the catbird seat because he's going to take over the lead of this race once these guys decide to pit, which should be in the next few laps. And that might be why Liam Hill is starting to pick up some pace on these guys. These softs might be starting to go away. The mediums are starting to come alive. And it looks like we've got Cameron Weston-Edwards is the first car to dive into the pits. See, Cam is on the softs as well. So the pit strategy is open. Lap 10 to 12 to switch over to the mediums. Rennie Vanderstadt picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Liam Hill, man, Liam Hill is on a tear. He is just taking chunks of time out of the two front runners. Down to 3.2 seconds. It was 4.7 seconds 2 laps ago. Meanwhile, Andrea Luttrell is still seeing if he can find a way around Jensen Randall. And there is Liam Hill. He's just coming into the picture. It's now down to 3-second gap. So good on Liam Hill. It is now 2.6 back. So Liam is coming, and Nick Van Gelder picked up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, Louis Quinlan is all over the back of Reese Marsh. This is the battle for 6th. Here comes Louis, dives to the inside. Great move on Reese March, makes it stick. Puts himself up in the 6th spot. And it looks like Dennis Carenchis is diving into the pits along with that Esteban Hermanos, I believe. And it looks like Andrea Latrella has dived into the pits as well. He is out. So Liam Hill, he was closing in on Andrea at a rapid rate. Liam's going to stay out. Obviously, he's on the mediums. He's going to run them for a long first stint. Jensen Randall. Now, how long does Jensen stay out on his softs? And Colin Higgins picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Andrea Latrella comes out of the pits in 9th. And he is the first of the front runners. He's ahead of Esteban Hermanos. He's ahead of Dennis Carenchis, and he's ahead of Cameron Weston-Edwards as well. And we've got a little bit of a mid-pack battle here. Nick Van Gelder closing in on Reese March for the 4th spot, but with the pit window being open, a lot of these guys are going to try and undercut one another. You see Nick runs into the grass there on the left side. And Nick dives into the pits. So we've got Reese, Nick, and Sandro all into the pits. Meanwhile, Max Mulder is staying out. And look at this. The two guys that started on the medium tires are now running first and second. Louis Quinlan, Liam Hill. And Liam Hill's got an 8.6 second lead over Louis Quinlan. And here you see Rennie Vanderstapp is running long on his set of softs. He's up to third. Max Mulder's up to fourth. Jensen Randall is gotten back out in front of Andrea Latrella, and Andrea has got to be just frustrated as hell. Doesn't seem like no matter what Andrea does, he can never quite get in front of Jensen. Meanwhile, Esteban Hermanos did get back out in front of Dennis Carenchis through the pit sequence. So things are spread out a little bit at the moment between most of these drivers. And a lot of this is still going to rely on strategy. Closest battle on track is Sandro Dulius and Nick Van Gelder. And Nick is also closing in on Reese March. Reese in that 10th spot. Nick runs wide again. He runs that left side tires out in the grass again. That one area. So it looks like Rennie Vanderstapp is finally pitting. Max Mulder still out on track. Running in third on those soft tires. The pit window for these things was 10 to 12 laps. He is now pushing them to the max. Andrea Latrella just ran the fastest lap of this race, but it's all for naught right now. He's still 1.6 seconds behind Jensen Randall. We see Cameron Weston Edwards has moved up in front of Reese March. He's going to start and try and work his way into Dennis Carenchis' territory for that 7th spot. So Andrea just can't find the little bit of speed that he needs to close that gap to Jensen Randall. So halfway through this race now, working lap 13 of 26. And Liam Hill is your leader to the tune of 10 seconds over Louis Quinlan. They both started at the back of this field due to a qualifying ban. Both started on medium tires on the alternate strategy and worked their way to the front through the pit sequence. Max Mulder started deep in the field as well and has yet to pit on those soft tires. Now, Max is losing, he's obviously losing time to Jensen Randall. Jensen Randall just set the fastest lap of this race on fresh mediums. Snatched it away from Andrea Latrella. I'm trying to take a look here. Max Mulder. About 3, 5, 13. If Max pitted now, he might come out and right around 9th, 10th, or 11th. So Max is probably doing himself a disservice at this point by staying out. He's probably losing time. He's not gaining anything on Louis Quinlan, and he's losing time to Jensen Randall, which means he's probably losing time to the rest of the field at this point. Everybody else is on fresher tires, with the exception of Louis Quinlan and Liam Hill, but they're on the mediums, so the mediums are going to be able to go for another handful of laps. Liam Hill, Louis Quinlan, they're probably going to pit right around lap, I don't know, maybe 18 to 20. No real close battles on track right now. We do got a little bit of a battle going on here. This is Cameron Weston Edwards holding off Reese March, holding off Nick Van Gelder, holding off Sandro Dulius. So a little bit of a battle going on here. 3-car battle right now, really, for the 8th spot. Cameron Weston Edwards trying to hold off Reese March and Nick Van Gelder. Those two are the closest to him. Reese with a really good run coming out of that corner. Look at Reese, man. Reese is closing in, using that slipstream through the S's. Here, Cam trying to get that power down, and it looks like Max Mulder has just lost the spot to Jetson Rendell. Here goes Reese March on Cameron Weston Edwards. Wasn't much Cameron was going to be able to do about that. Reese had the DRS. Cam looking to get it back. And he is all over the back of Reese March. And while these two are battling it out, here comes Nick Van Gelder starting to creep his way into this picture. DRS slot open for Cameron Weston Edwards. Nick Van Gelder is there as well. Cam trying to peek his way into the mirror of Reese, see if he can force him into a mistake. And Max Mulder is losing another spot now to Andrea Latrella. Max is now really struggling with those soft tires. He needs to pit. I have no idea why he is running so long on those softs. They've got to be giving up at this point. Nick Van Gelder now looking to make a move on Cameron Weston Edwards for the 9th spot. And Colin Higgins picks up another 3-second time penalty. Looks like Sandro Julius is losing a spot to Rennie Vanderstapp. That's for 11. Meanwhile, Dennis Caranches is now starting to close in on Esteban Hermanos. These guys have not been able to separate themselves. They were battling with each other from the beginning of this race. They pitted together. They came back out. They are now battling again. And it looks like I am starting to see a little bit of rain fall. Maybe this was Max's strategy. Max is running these tires, waiting on the rain to come, and it's just now starting to show up. So, yep, the rain is starting to fall. Max Mulder with a great strategy call. Can he keep those tires from destroying themselves? And you see here, we ride along board. The rain's starting to come down. Max with a great strategy. I hand it to him. That was a good call. I didn't even think about it. I knew rain was coming towards the end of this race. I didn't think it would show up this soon. He's got a 7-second gap over Esteban Hermanos. So Max Mulder, great strategy call by him. And this is really going to play to the hands of Liam Hill and Louis Quinlan, because they can continue to run these until the weather gets bad enough to make this changeover. Running those medium tires, running the first long stint, that has really helped them. These guys could pit and still come out first and second. So good strategy call by Liam Hill, Louis Quinlan, and Max Mulder. The only concern I have for Max is he's got 16 laps on those soft tires. There could be a chance of them deteriorating and him getting a puncture if he has to go too many more laps before he can do a changeover to the intermediates. And there's still a battle back here. Dennis Caranchi still trying to find his way around Esteban Hermanos. Then you've got Reese March, and he's got Cameron Weston Edwards. Nick Van Gelder behind him. Sandro Julius trying to get back in front of Rennie Vanderstapp. And Liam Hill. Liam Hill apparently got a lot of fans in the stands. A lot of guys tuning into the live chat, cheering on Liam. So always good to have a driver that's got some fans in the stands. And look at the black streaks there. Guys locking up heading to that corner. That's probably all Nick's tire marks, to be honest with you, as aggressive as he is with his tires. Working lap 18 of 26. How long do these guys go before they decide to make a changeover? Especially for Max Mulder, as he's run 17 laps on soft tires. He's got to be getting close to having a puncture at this point. Pick up Nick Van Gelder. Going to be interesting to watch him in the wet. Now the DRS is still enabled, so the rain hasn't gotten bad enough and the track conditions are not bad enough yet to disable the DRS. That's usually an indication for the drivers that that's a good changeover point, is when the DRS is disabled from race control due to the weather conditions. Nick following Cameron Weston Edwards. Edwards still trying to find a way back around Reese March. Reese has done a great job holding off those two drivers. Dennis Caranci still trying to find a way around Esteban Hermanos. Esteban running a great race today. Really, this is probably Esteban's best showing so far this year since coming into the league. Meanwhile, Max Mulder is reaching critical mass as far as I can tell on his tires. Those rear tires have to be completely shot at this point. Esteban and Dennis are actually creeping in on Max. Had the rain come a little bit sooner, or if it picks up really quick here, his strategy could still pay off. But Max running 18 laps on some soft tires is incredible. Oh, and Dennis Caranci picks up a 3-second time penalty trying to keep up with Esteban Hermanos. And now Max Mulder, he's getting out of the way. He knows his tires are shot at this point. And here comes Dennis Caranci. Almost thought about making a move. Liam Hill has now dived into the pits. And Liam has switched over to soft tires. I don't know if that's a good call or not. I mean, the track conditions must not be bad enough to warrant intermediate tires just yet, but unless he made a mistake and meant to switch over to intermediates. And Max Mulder is now dived in the pits. He can't, oh, he's got a punctured right front. He could not run those tires any longer. Max's strategy almost paid off. He is going to be the first one to switch over to the intermediates. So interesting here, we see Liam Hill is dived in for softs. Max Mulder pits for intermediates. There's a car behind him, that's Colin Higgins. Colin Higgins is switching over to intermediate tires as well. So did Liam Hill make a mistake by switching to the softs? Meanwhile, Louis Quinlan still trying to run these mediums. I think he's waiting for the track conditions to deteriorate a little bit more before he decides to make a changeover. We'll see if he goes the softs or the intermediates. Jensen Randall, though, he's still trying to hold off Andrea Latrella. These two guys, you see the DRS is still enabled. So we've got three cars on intermediates. We've got Max Mulder, Colin Higgins, and Yerma Rusich, so they're all in the back. Sandra Julius just picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's trying to get around Rennie Vanderstappen. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. And Louis Quinlan has dived into the pits. And Jensen Randall back out in front of this race. He's got Andrea Latrella all over the back of him. And Quinlan has switched over to soft tires as well. And Andrea gets a good run coming out of that corner. He's got the DRS. He's going to get to the inside. He just gave him a NASCAR bump and run. He was trying to make an adjustment on the steering wheel. He should have dived to the inside. He couldn't quite make it work. He had a great run coming out of that corner. I thought he was going to make the pass for the lead. And now Jensen Randall's car is starting to slide around a little bit. Again, Andrea with a great run. You see he's making the adjustments on the steering wheel there. If Andrea can hang tough through this high-speed section here, get a good run down this next straightaway. They lost it a little bit there. Jensen was able to run it just a little bit faster through there. Liam Hill still running in third on the soft tires. We saw Louis Quinlan pitted, comes all the way out. Louis Quinlan has come back out in the 10th position. Rain continuing to fall. Quinlan's making a move on Rennie Vanderstapp. Let's pick up 9th. The 3 cars on the intermediates are still all the way in the back of this field. Assuming the track conditions have not gotten so bad that they really are going to be a benefit just yet. But if the track conditions... Oh, look at this. That's Colin Higgins getting out of the way of this lead battle. Higgins is currently running 14th. And Higgins picks up a 3-second time penalty because of that. But that could be taken away by the stewards at the end of this race. It's really inconsequential at this point. And a good run from Andre Latrella. He's going to put the move on him now down the inside. Oh, and he blows the corner. Jensen Randall back to the inside. And Andre Latrella almost outbraked himself. And the laps are winding down. They're going to come across the line. Be lap 23 of 26. 4 laps remaining in this race. Andre Latrella back out in front. He's still got Jensen Randall half-second behind him. Meanwhile, Dennis Carenchis is still trying to find a way around Esteban Hermanos. Liam Hill is running in the 3rd spot. He is 5.2 seconds back from this lead battle. And he's also lost a little bit of time there. It's 5.5, 5.4. So Liam Hill, you see, it's wet. It's wet. So these guys going to have to make another pit stop, these closing laps, to get some intermediates or full wets. They're going to be switching to intermediates, I imagine, if anything. And look at this battle here. Cameron Weston Edwards, a half-second back of Reese March, but Nick Van Gelder looking to make a move, a 3-car battle here. And look at this. Colin Higgins, 10-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits. And Jurma Rusic has pitted to make a second stop back to soft tires. So the intermediates did not garner him anything. He's had to make an extra stop, so his race is falling apart. Meanwhile, Liam Hill is now 4.4 seconds back from the lead battle between Andrea Latrella and Jensen Randall. Dennis Carenchis closing in on Esteban Hermanos. This is going to be a long 3 laps for some of these drivers. The rain continuing to fall. The intensity hasn't picked up on the rain, but the intensity has picked up on track with altering strategies. Guys that have tried intermediates. Now, Dion Stahl has pitted and switched over to intermediates. Dion's pretty good judgment guy when it comes to the track conditions. Now, you see the DRS is still enabled, so race control still feels like it's not too bad for DRS, but that could change in a lap or two. Colin Higgins, another 3-second time penalty. Colin, what are you doing? Meanwhile, Louis Quinlan putting the move on, getting around. What is this? What is going on here? This is Nick Van Gelder. Oh, Van Gelder's gone off. So Van Gelder possibly tried making a move on Cameron Weston Edwards. Or is the track conditions starting to finally deteriorate? And around goes Nick with a perfect 360. And Esteban Hermanos, looks like he's had an off as well. So are the track conditions finally getting to the point where there's going to have to be a changeover? This could be bad news bears for a lot of these drivers. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl, I'm using as my judgment call. He's the first driver to make a perfect execution on the intermediates. Could this help him? Liam Hill, 3.6 seconds back from Jensen Randall. Jensen still trying to find a way around Liam Hill. And let's pick up some telemetry here. Let's see how these guys are rocking on the throttle. Oh, and look at Jensen Randall using the ERS, the DRS. He's got the overtake button, goes around the outside. He's offline. Can he make it stick? They're side by side. Into the next corner, he's going to push Andrea just a little bit wide, take away that racing line. And you see how easy he's got to be trying to get back on the throttle. They're still side by side as they come out of that corner. Meanwhile, Liam Hill, 2.8 seconds back, 2 laps to go. And unfortunately, it looks like intermediates are not going to help Dion Stahl either. So really, this is going to be a race to the finish against the weather. Who's going to make the least amount of mistakes heading into these last couple of laps? Here we go. Here we go. Cross the line. White flag lap is out. Nope, not yet. That's the other straightaway. Damn you, Silverstone, for having 2 starting spots. You know, Liam is now down 1.8 seconds back. Liam Hill's got a shot. He's got a shot at making this work. Especially if these two continue to battle it out through these next lap and a half. Conditions deteriorating, rain coming down. You hear the tires squealing and locking up. Andrea can't get back to the power the way he wants to. Liam Hill 1.7 seconds back from this battle. Now, white flag lap. Final time around Silverstone for round 11 here of this season 6 for SRL. Cameron Weston Edwards making a move on Esteban Hermanos. They're side by side. Oh! Cam trying to make it work. Not able to make it stick. Back towards the battle at the front. Liam Hill now is within a second of the front runners. The adrenaline is pumping. And he's taking chunks of time out of him. Marusic picks up a time penalty, but that doesn't matter. He's last. We've now got a 3-car battle, half a lap to go. Does anybody have anything for Jensen Randall? Can Jensen Randall hold up a hard-charging Liam Hill and Andrea Latrella? Andrea looks like his car pushed wide just a little bit there. You see the gap there, first, second, and third. Couple of more corners to go. Down the straightaway. We've got a lap car in the way that could really throw a wrench into this situation. And Andrea Latrella, is he going to make any last-ditch effort to try and make this work? Doesn't look like he's got anything for him. Jensen Randall coming out of the final corner, comes across the line. He's bringing Andrea Latrella with him. Liam Hill, and then we've got Dennis Carenchis has finally worked his way into 4th, but he's got timing penalties. We'll see where they fall. An unbelievable run by Jensen Randall, Andrea Latrella, and Liam Hill running that alternate strategy. The Dennis Carenchis comes across 4th. Timing penalties are going to be added up, and look at this in-game time penalties. Reese March finds himself sitting in 4th. Esteban Hermanos is dropping through the field. Nick Van Gelder had his off. Dion Stahl. Oh, Dion Stahl has retired from the session. And around goes Nick one more time. So Max Mulder is going to come across in the 14th spot. So Colin Higgins. You can see the track conditions are finally getting to the point where maybe a changeover would be necessary. Some of these guys tried to play the strategy. It didn't work out. So unbelievable. Jensen Randall with another win. And that is Jensen's fourth win this season for the Mercedes team. Andrea Latrella with another podium. He does keep himself in championship contention, but he doesn't close down that points gap. Liam Hill, driver of the day, absolutely started dead last because of a qualifying ban. Worked his way to 3rd, running the alternate strategy. An unbelievable run for these guys. Andrea Latrella going to be thinking about what he has to do to try and finish in front of Jensen Randall. Unbelievable race. So here are your unofficial results. Jensen Randall with the win. Andrea Latrella is second. Liam Hill is third. Reese March is fourth. Dennis Carenci is fifth. Louis Quinlan sixth. Cameron Weston Edwards is seventh. Sandro Dulius eighth. Esteban Hermanos is ninth. Rennie Vanderstappen is 10th. Nick Van Gelder is 11th. Dion Stahl is 12th. Max Mulder is 13th. Colin Higgins 14th. And Jorma Rusic is 15th. What a race today. And Nick Van Gelder on the live chat saying he had a good rhythm going but still messed it up. And again, another no points race for him as the battle for 10th in the point standings, as I said, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Heading into this race was Nick and Max tied at 29 points, Louis with 28, Dion 27, Funz with 25. Obviously, Louis will be able to jump into the top 10. Actually, he'll be able to jump ahead of Nick. But Reese March was 10th in points, and after finishing 4th, that's going to boost him a little bit. So, unbelievable race today. Guys, like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody who are turning in. And be sure to check us out. We're going to be running the Project Cars 2 2.4 hours a Daytona in the next few weeks. And be sure to watch that as well. You can also check out the last week's Snowball Derby with the rally cars on Project Cars 2, where Max Mulder walked away with a win. And what a race today. Congratulations to Jensen Randall. And check us out on Instagram and the interwebs. The description's in the links in the description below. And we will see everybody at the next round.